How the fuck do you spell Deoxys? Alright, that took me a minute. I had to figure out how to spell Deoxys. Why? To leave a comment on a TikTok. No, seriously. I'm not joking. That's the real reason I did that. Look at it. It's spooky time. It's spooky time. Woo, spooky time. It's the Splatfest. Wizard versus Knight versus Ninja. Conch shells are currently... Yeah, that's about what I expected. Scorch Gorge. Hilltown Alley, okay. Mariner's Bay. Okay, so we got the shirt, the witch's shirt. But other than that, you know, we've got the boots, we've got the hat. And as far as I know, when we actually get into the Splatfest itself, that'll all change. Oh, look at that one. Oh, that was great. Dark Magician card. That's fun. I feel like that's half of something. Either that or that's a reference to something I don't get. We'll look at the art later. So, yeah, let's just boot it up. Let's just start running the gambit. So, as we get into things tonight, we've got a few stories. We're going to talk about the NSO Playtest stuff, at least what I remember from it, because admittedly, I did not write everything down. I know some people have looked into, like, there's like a multi-page document explaining it that people were able to data mine. As far as I know, people have access to it now, but yeah, we'll talk about what I've learned. We got to talk about Sakurai, right? Masahiro Sakurai has been doing this game development diary thing to, like, teach people about, you know, making games and what works and what doesn't. You know, just a series based on his years of experience. And we got the final episode of that. So we got that. And, of course, there's some things in there that I want to talk about. We got Yooka-Replaylee is getting a remake, which we'll talk about. And then we got a bunch of WIBE stuff. I got a food thing. I saw a movie in a theater. Oh, shit. I went and saw comic book stuff. We got comic book stuff. I know, it's been a while since we've had comic book stuff. That's not like MCU bullshit. And then we got some Mario. It says games here in my notes. It's Mario Party. I'll tell you just straight up right now. It's the Mario's Party. But before we get into any of that, I did notice... So, this is the Witch versus Knight Splatfest, right? Witch versus Knight versus Ninja. This is actually a Wizard versus Knight versus Ninja, excuse me. This is a redo of a Splatoon 2 Splatfest. In March of 2019? Yeah, here we go. March 16th, 2019. They did Wizard versus Knight. I think it was actually Knight versus Wizard. But they did this Splatfest before. So this is the second time we've done this Splatfest. And I was kind of curious. Like, back when this Splatfest... Because this wasn't a Halloween Splatfest at the time. Which kind of blows my mind. Because in my memory it is. But no, the Halloween Splatfest that year was Trick or Treat. Or at least the Halloween one before that was Trick or Treat. So it got me thinking, like, back in 2019, what were we talking about the last time this Splatfest happened? Right? That was, what, 4 or 5 years ago now? That was a while ago. What were we talking about? So luckily I didn't rewatch the episode. Okay, I watched it for like a second just to kind of see, like, we did stream it. And then I had to go, because in my notes, I don't have which Splatfest is which. So I had to find the episode. Again, it was episode 15. That's how long this was, right? This show that we've been doing for 5 seasons now. Over 100 episodes. Right? Because, yeah, definitely over 100 episodes. I don't think it's over 200, but definitely over 100 episodes. Episode 15 was Knights versus Wizards. So I was, like, curious what was going on back then. I will say, back during Season 1, this was a monthly show, not a weekly show. So this covers all the news stories we talked about that month. And I'm not going to re-go over we're not going to go over each individual thing. I just kind of want to point out some of the stuff we talked about, because I'm curious, I was curious. And luckily, I have kept show notes about this show since episode 6. And I've kept them all in the same place on a Google Drive. So we have every show I've ever done in notes still. Which just kind of blows my mind. I definitely took more basic bitch-ass notes back then. Like, some of the stuff on here, like, I just have, Baba Is You and Anthem written on here. What the fuck do either of those things refer to? I have no idea. I know Baba Is You doesn't refer to me playing Baba Is You, because there's a section called What Have I Been Playing? This was before WIBE. Episode 15, I don't think I started doing WIBE until like season 3. That was a later thing. So it's just called Been Playing. And yeah, so for some reason, Baba Is You and Anthem are on here. Maybe this was the point in which Anthem was getting shut down. That would be my guess on that. Baba Is You might have been announced for the Switch, because I had heard great things about the game, and so maybe it had been announced for Switch at that point, or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember when Baba Is You released on Switch. I just realized we're not wearing the full witch's costume. It's only got the, I've got the hat and the pant and, boots, but not the shirt. That's kind of disappointing. I thought we were supposed to get the full costume. Whatever. So yeah, Labo VR was announced in March of 2019, which is interesting. PlayStation, there was a rumor that PlayStation was going to acquire 2K. That obviously never happened. Like, I don't even remember this rumor at all, but that's what was going around at the time, I guess. Fire Emblem Three Houses either released, or there was some more information around Fire Emblem Three Houses at the time. Nintendo had come out against microtransactions. I say against, I think they were talking about AAA games. That's what I'm guessing I meant, because, yeah, well, they've put them in plenty of their mobile games. They haven't put them in any AAA games. So maybe that's what I was talking about? I have something called the Xbox SAD, which is a discless console. I don't know if we ever got an Xbox One that was discless. Because the Xbox Series X hadn't... Had it been announced at this point? I honestly don't remember if the Xbox Series X had been announced at the... It must not have been. I think it was announced in December of 2019. And then it came out in November of the next year. Apex Legends might have been announced. I don't know. I have Apex Legends written down here. That's totally possible that that was announced. Reggie Fils-Aimé announced his retirement at Nintendo, and Doug Bowser was appointed the new president of Nintendo of America. The Sonic movie leaks happened in March of 2019. So, you know, the ugly Sonic images with John Marsden that, you know, people hated. This wasn't the trailer. This was like a promotional poster that came out of like Sonic sitting on a car, and everybody hated it. Yeah, that happened then. Ori Pori Pudding and Pie on Switch. So I'm assuming this is when they announced the Ori games coming to Switch. Because, yeah, I used to call it Ori and the Wimble Bimble and Ori Pori Pudding and Pie. That's what I used to call those games. I still actually do. I just don't talk about this game, so that's why I haven't said that in a while. Yeah, Ori and the Wimble Bimble and Ori Pori Pudding and Pie. Evo was not returning to Melee that year. We must have gotten some new Pokemon Sword and Shield news. What the fuck was announced for Pokemon Sword and Shield in 2019? I have no idea. But that was something that happened. And then the games I had been playing in March of 2019, I had been playing Golf Story, which Golf Story actually ended up as my game of the year that year. So that's interesting to know. I was playing it in March. I was playing Wargroove at the time, which I'm assuming had just released around then. I was playing Ultimate Chicken Horse. Either that had just come to Switch, or I had just been playing it. I had finished the original season of the Adventure Zone. You know, the original arc. What's the original arc called? Bureau of Balance. Is it just called the Adventure Zone Balance? Whatever the original arc of the Adventure Zone is. I had started it in July of 2018, and I finished it in March of 2019. So that happened then. And then my final thing that I'd been doing was Captain Marvel had released March 8th of 2019. So I had Captain Marvel in my notes. That's what was going on between February and March of 2019. That's wild. The last time we were doing this Splatfest was way back when. But yeah, that's how it happened. It's just an interesting look down memory lane. I'm really glad I have those notes. God, that was so long ago. I was just, you're right, it's interesting, because I thought I had them so... Admittedly, because there was a while where I swear I used 2 different note-taking programs. And I thought the original season of In Chat was done in one note-taking program. And then every later season was just done in Google Docs, because it was, you know, easier. No, turns out I've been using the same note-taking program the entire time. What the fuck? What did I use the other note-taking program for? I have no idea. But I know I used it at some point. Because now, just Google Docs is just so much easier. And I put, like, my notes are now... Not, like, super detailed, like, not as detailed as, like, a Kinda Funny Games Daily. But, you know, I put more in there than just Anthem. What the fuck did Anthem mean? No idea. What did Apex Legends mean? I mean, I would guess Apex Legends released that month, but I have no tangible proof of that. Either it had been released or it announced that month. Because, yeah, 2019, I was still big on Titanfall, man. Titanfall 1 was okay, but Titanfall 2 was the GOAT. It was the GOAT. Ah, God, it sucks we're never going to get a Titanfall 3 that lives up to Titanfall 2. Because, man, after that blunder of a first game, they really did come back and make a great second one. So, yeah, okay, so we should actually probably get into stuff now. I did have another idea, and maybe we'll do this next week. I saw on Reddit, someone had the idea of like, hey, what are games you hope come to Nintendo Switch? And I think that would make a fun topic, right? Like, what are some games we hope to come to Nintendo Switch? So maybe we'll do that in the future as well. But yeah, it was just something I was thinking about. because I think that'd be fun. Mainly because we got a Nintendo game this week. We'll talk about that in a little bit. That's good water. So our first thing is this Nintendo Switch Online playtest. So a lot of people have been wondering what the fuck this was, right? There had been speculation that it was just going to be voice chat. There had been speculation that maybe it was going to be GameCube games or DS games, I think was the other one. We had a few other ideas last week. I know we had talked about a few other things last week. Or maybe that was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, achievements had been another one that people were talking about. Well, we actually basically on Monday or Tuesday, we started to find out what this was. And it was not at all what I expected. So I did not get into this Nintendo Switch Online playtest. That's why I'm able to talk about it. And at the time I was like, you know what, it's no big deal. Because, you know, I expected it to be something dumb, like voice chat or achievements. Actually, now knowing what it is, I kind of wish I had gotten in. Because, well, yes, it seems to be... Basically, from what I can tell, this seems to be Nintendo's take on something like Minecraft or Roblox. Or it's some sort of MMO online game where you've got this planet to explore, you're taking bases, and then in those bases you're building these towers. There seems to be I say Roblox because there seems to be user-generated content, right? Kind of like that Game Builder Garage that Nintendo released a few years ago, or Nintendo Labo. But it's online. There's moderation stuff, and you have to basically you have to take a course to be like, yeah, you know, I can properly use these systems. So that's interesting. Because, you know, a few weeks ago when we were doing our Nintendo Switch 2 predictions, which I really need to start editing and putting up on TikTok and other places, because I do want to publish those somewheres, make a highlight reel. But while we were talking about those Nintendo Switch Online predictions, one of the things I said I wanted was a new Nintendo IP that, you know, is Nintendo's take on other game franchises. That, right, in the same way that Splatoon here is Nintendo's take on a third-person shooter. Or that ARMS is Nintendo's take on a fighting... It's not a fighting game, but it's a 3D fighting game, I guess is the right word I'll use. Right, usually once per generation, Nintendo does something new. And for the Switch 2, I was like, my thing that I wanted was I would love to see Nintendo's take on a Souls-like game. And I still want to see that. I still think Nintendo could totally pull off a Souls-like game and make it real fun and real interesting as just an original IP. Yeah, could they do it with Kid Icarus? Totally. Are they going to? Probably not. But I think they could pull that off. But instead, I'd never even thought, hey, what if Nintendo made Minecraft? What would Nintendo's Minecraft look like? And that's kind of what this might potentially be. I don't know. From everything we've seen from this looks like the shell of a much bigger game. Or, not the shell, the skeleton. The skeleton is a better metaphor. That basically this is the basics, right? The core ideas of will be a much larger game. This beta test thing uses cavemen as characters, and that kind of seems to be what it's doing. So, whether the cavemen are why not just use Mii's? I feel like they could have used Mii's, but if this is a new IP or something, I don't... This kind of feels like if you took something new and stripped out a lot of the basic stuff, right? You stripped out the characters, you just boiled it down to the skeleton. So there's no flesh, there's no muscle, there's no nerve endings, you know, which could be a metaphor for, you know, texture and gameplay and... not gameplay. Yeah, gameplay, kind of. You know, things like story and whatnot. As much as MMOs have story. Right? It's like they stripped all that away, boiled it down to the basic skeleton, and then presented that to us. And I think there's some, right, the idea of Nintendo MMO Roblox, because I can't get into Roblox, right? Like, I see all these kids nowadays just obsessed with Dress to Impress or other stupid Roblox games. And I don't get it. Like, that's after me. Like, I get Minecraft. And oh boy, we got some new Minecraft stuff. They're adding resin to the game. I kind of wish it was called Amber. I know Amber is typically found in, like, rivers and oceans, but I kind of wish it was called Amber, because, you know, you can use that on armor trims. Amber is typically used in, like, art and jewelry. I think of the Russian Amber Room that, you know, got destroyed by the Russians in World War II, and then they built a second one. But that's a theory for another day. I wish it was called Amber. I know resin is the actual tree product, and amber is the fossilized version, but I wish you could find, like, amber blocks underwater in, like, rivers and whatnot. Very rare. Maybe the amber blocks? Maybe the amber blocks are where you find sniffer eggs. You know, in, like, a callback to, like, Jurassic Park. If there were these underwater amber blocks that had sniffer eggs and you can get some resin, so that way you don't have to go into the new Pale Garden. Even though, you know, you probably should totally go into the Pale Garden because, you know, it's incentivizing you to try out this new content. The other thing is, I know you smelt the amber blocks to make amber ingot or resin ingots. You smelt the resin. I want the resin to be flammable like wood. There's a resin block you can make. It better be flammable, because in real life, resin in amber is super flammable, right? Like I said, the Russians destroyed the Amber Room by burning it. They burned it to the ground. Probably. Again, it's just a theory. A history theory. Someone, though, should totally recreate the Amber Room with the new resin blocks. Not me, obviously, but somebody who's, you know, has talent. So, yeah. And also, they made the creaking do more damage and made it faster, which is a change they totally needed to make. It did, like, 1.5 hearts before, and that was just too little. Now it's actually, you know, more of a threat, which I want it to be. You can make resin farms as well, which is cool. But okay, I got off topic there. Yeah, this new right, so there have been some images leaked, some clips have come out. I know some people were streaming it. I admittedly did not catch any of those streams before they got taken down. I saw a few pictures and videos, though. I don't know, it's, yeah, like I said, the skeleton of this game seems to be based around building a tower. Is this something that will inevitably come out? Not in the form it currently is, but definitely in some way, shape, or form. I don't know, I've seen a lot of people speculate that maybe Nintendo is going to use this system for the next Miiverse, right? They're gonna, because some people had been predicting Miiverse 2. And if Nintendo's making this online communication hub thing, that's all about building these towers to, you know, spread information where you're going around a globe and whatnot. There's element... You know that game Peter Molyneux made that was all about breaking that cube, and at the center of the cube there was something like that people found on, like, the center of this cube? Right, and I don't remember what the prize was. It's been a while. But it was like it was this weird social experiment about, like, mining this cube. It kind of reminds me of that. Like, it's very weird in a way. It's nothing like the Peter Molyneux thing, obviously, because that was fucking Peter Molyneux. Dude. But it is interesting. So, yeah, I don't know. From people who have actually played it, this seems to be underwhelming right now. But, like, if it's just the skeleton, like, we know skeletons are spooky, but there's no meat on those bones. And that's kind of what this seems to be like. It's a skeleton without any meat, right? There's no actual depth or substance to it. But hopefully, if this ever does come out as like a full final product, it will have meat on its bones. Will it come out for Switch or Switch 2? Who fucking knows? Man, it's literally anything is possible. As we get closer to Switch 2, it feels like everything will come out on Switch 2. But also, this is Nintendo. They could do anything. Like, this could be announced to be a game releasing in February of next year. Filling up, and then, you know, the Switch 2 comes out in March or April. But we'll just kind of have to wait and see. But it's interesting. It is interesting. I like to see Nintendo try new and different stuff. And while Nintendo Roblox was not on my bingo card, I don't hate the idea. I don't. Fuck. How long have I been muted? Fuck me. It always happens. It always I don't know how long. I definitely blew my nose at some point. And then when I hit the unmute button, it didn't unmute. Fuck me. Yeah. So yeah, this final Sakurai thing, it's a great end off to the series. I'm very curious to see what his next game is. I hope it's not Smash Bros. I hope he's doing something different, something more creative, you know, something original. I'd love to see. I mean, if he takes on like a classic, like if Sakurai makes an Ice Climbers game or even a follow-up to Kid Icarus, I'd be more interested in that. I just don't want to see him stuck in the Smash Bros. Minds, right? I want him to do something else. I want Nintendo. I've said this before. I want Nintendo to write Sakurai a blank check to let him do whatever he wants. He has unlimited time and unlimited funding to do whatever he wants. Admittedly, sometimes that can backfire. Like, I know people have turned around on Death Stranding, and Death Stranding is a good game now. Supposedly. Allegedly. I don't know, I haven't played it. But at the time when Death Stranding came out, it was kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, basically they wrote Hideo Kojima a blank check to make whatever game he wanted. And he made a very weird game that, you know, some elements were good, and it got, by the time it was, you know, fully released and everything, and the director's cut came around, he had definitely made a good game, allegedly. Oh, that's the other, you know, I didn't even mention that earlier. I compared this new Nintendo Playtest game to Roblox and Minecraft. You know what else I've seen it compared to? Death Stranding, of all things. I've seen people say that this is Nintendo's take on a Strand-like game. Because, you know, Hideo Kojima basically said he'd created a new genre. And yeah, I've seen people be like, this is, yeah, the second ever Strand-like game. Which I think is very funny. I mean, I don't know. It might be true. I've never played Death Stranding, and I haven't played this new thing. But yeah, no. These Sakurai game Diaries. It was a real interesting series. I don't know if, right, because, you know, making a game is one of those things, like, I have it on, like, a bucket list, but I don't know if I'll ever actually do it. I'll write a book before I make a game, probably. But, you know, resources like this are always helpful. I'm always glad for this, Game Maker's Toolkit, you know, GDC stuff. It's always great to have these resources. You know, just in case you ever need them. Because, yeah, you know, these experts talking about the tools of their trade is good. I'm glad to hear it. I have of the past, like, 15 minutes, I have no idea what actually was in there and what got lost in translation. I hope at least some of that made it in there. Man. Oh, I heard the witches laugh there. Has that always been there? I don't know. So our next story is, so the developers of Yooka-Laylee, Platonic? I think it's Platonic, announced their new game. Or, not their new game, but their next project. They're remaking Yooka-Laylee. So Yooka-Laylee, right, it was this big Kickstarter story. A lot of people were really excited for it. You know, we haven't got a new Banjo-Kazooie in forever. Some guy at Xbox said recently that players don't want a new Banjo-Kazooie game. Well, okay, I think it was something specifically along the lines of nobody cares about Banjo-Kazooie, which that statement was later skewed as like, no, he didn't actually say that, or somehow that was taken out of context, or I don't know. There's been a lot, because Banjo-Tooie came out on Switch yesterday. And right, that was one of the statements that was kind of going around, and people were freaking out about it. There was a lot of different things going on. But at some point, somebody potentially maybe said that, right, people don't care about Banjo-Kazooie. And, right, you had a game like Yooka-Laylee, which was like, hey, this is going to be the spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie. But it was okay, but it had its problems. There are countless video essays about the problems with Yooka-Laylee. And I really hope that... So we got this new thing. It's called Yooka Re-playlee. Right, you know, like replay, ha ha ha, very funny, very clever. I hope they look at, right, people's problems with Yooka-Laylee. And I hope this isn't just like, hey, guess what, we're porting this game... Right, because I think the original Yooka-Laylee came out on PS4 and Xbox One. I hope this isn't just a port of the PS4 and Xbox One version. And it's also on Switch, of course. I hope it's not just a straight-up port. I hope this is them going back at the game, going in, and being like, hey, these are problems people had with the original. Let's go in and let's make some fixes. Right? People... Like, the one thing I remember people complaining about was that the characters, right? In Banjo-Kazooie, you had a variety of different characters in every world, and even the characters that did repeatedly show up, they had, like, unique costumes and unique styles. Whereas in Yooka-Laylee, every character is the same, right? No matter which world you're in, you're just coming across the same characters over and over again. I can't remember if Yooka-Laylee had camera problems. It might have. I remember there being something about level transitions being kind of annoying. I don't know, there was a number of different problems with Yooka-Laylee, if I remember correctly. And I really hope the developers go back in and fix this. I don't remember, or fix it, change it, I don't know, try different things. However they decide to do it. I don't know, I don't think based on this trailer they actually said they were doing anything. Admittedly, I cannot remember. It's been a few days since we got this trailer. Okay, it's potentially only been 2, but you know, 2 is more than 0. So I hope they go back in, make some changes, make some improvements, you know, address some of the problems with the original. But that's not the real reason everyone's talking about this, right? If this was all the announcement was, I don't even know if we would have talked about it tonight, because, you know, there are other stories that I've just completely glanced by. But the real reason we're talking about this is that at the end of the trailer, it says coming to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, obviously, but Nintendo. It doesn't say Nintendo Switch, it just says Nintendo, and there's two little eyes floating over it. So this is one of the first games that is confirmed for whatever the next Nintendo console is, right? Like, they didn't obviously say it because Nintendo themselves haven't said it, but they're clearly hinting at, right, that, hey, whatever the next Nintendo console is, this is going to be there. I don't think this is the first game that we've seen that's coming to Nintendo Switch, right? Obviously, games like Metroid Prime 4, I'm gonna guess Shovel of Hope DX is going to be... I would not be surprised if that is a Switch 2 Day 1 launch title. In the same way that Spectre of Torment was a Day 1 launch title on the original Switch, I wouldn't be surprised if Shovel of Hope DX is a Day 1 launch title. I'm going to make that prediction right now. We'll talk more about it next week, obviously, but I think that's a really safe prediction to make right now. That's going to be a Switch 2 launch title thing. But, you know, there was a lot of talk so, of course, that had everyone freaking out that, oh my god, the new Nintendo thing. What does this mean? Right, are we finally going to get the Switch 2? Because I think we got this on Tuesday. So, on Wednesday, or we might have gotten it on Wednesday, actually. But, so this meant that people have been waiting for Switch 2. Right, the original Switch's reveal basically happened around this time 8 years ago. I think it was actually early. I think it was Tuesday this week. 8 years ago, they revealed the original Switch. So, of course, there's been a lot of talk about, oh, are we finally going to get the Switch 2 reveal? People have been freaking out. Again, everyone thought it was going to be a few weeks ago, and instead Nintendo revealed Alarmo. And then every week since then, every Wednesday and Thursday, is it going to be today? Is it going to happen today? My guess is they would announce, hey, stay tuned for a special Nintendo announcement. They'd say that on Tuesday or Wednesday. And then it would happen on either Wednesday or Thursday. We definitely have at least 24 hours notice. I don't think they're just going to drop it, because that's how they did it for the NX. That eventually became the Switch. So, of course, I've seen a lot of people freaking out about this. And, you know, basically every Wednesday and Tuesday, it's over on the Nintendo Switch 2 subreddit, it becomes Clown Day, right? Those 2 days are Clown Days, where people freak out, is it going to happen today? And then it never happens. There was that one guy who said that, hey, the Switch 2 trailer has been filmed, and we will see it within 1 to 6 weeks. Guess what? It was 6 weeks as of when he said that. So there was a lot of hope that it was going to happen this week. Especially because people didn't think it was going to happen next week. Because next week, Thursday, is Halloween. And there's no way Nintendo would announce their new console on Halloween. I mean, they could always announce it the day before Halloween on the 30th. That sounds right. The 30th? Yeah, I think so. Right. So they could always, I guess they could also announce something on the 29th. But that's possible, but there's no way they're going to announce something on Halloween. So people were like, it had to be this week. All the October people, myself included, were actually really hopeful it was going to be this week. It's not this week. And again, I don't actually want the Switch revealed for the Switch 2 reveal. Because we basically have an idea of what it's going to be. I just want the Switch 2 reveal, so that way people shut the fuck up about Switch 2 predictions. Right? I know I'm a pot calling the kettle black. We talk about it every week. But I'm ready for the thing to just be announced, and then we can move on. We can start talking about other stuff. But nope, until the system gets revealed, we just have to keep speculating. Keep speculating day in and day out. And while speculation can be fun, it can also be very tiresome. So I was really hoping this week. Again, I had all my... If you had me bet money, I would have guessed it would have happened the week Alarmo got revealed. And that just didn't happen. Instead, we got a fucking alarm clock. So yeah, here we are. Hey, we know Yooka-Laylee's Yooka-Re-playlee. I never played Yooka-Laylee, I should say. I don't know if I've ever, I don't think I said that earlier. I have never played Yooka-Laylee. It's one of those games I do want to play eventually, just out of, like, curiosity. Like, I've also never played Banjo-Tooie. I've played the original Banjo-Kazooie. I've never beaten the original Banjo-Kazooie, but I have played it. And then I've played Nuts and Bolts. I've beaten Nuts and Bolts. It's okay. But I have never played Yooka-Laylee. I've heard its follow-up, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, which is like a 2D platformer, is amazing. I've heard fantastic things about that game. That, like, if you love Donkey Kong Country, and right, you've been waiting, 10 plus years for the new Donkey Kong Country that is just never coming, give Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair a try. It's not the same, obviously, but it's pretty dang close from what I've heard. Like, it's the next closest thing. Kind of like how if you're a Paper Mario fan, give South Park the try, right? Give South Park the Stick of Truth a try, because that's like the closest thing we got up until, May or March of this year. I don't remember the exact date. So yeah, Switch 2 speculation continues on. But yeah, I think next week, maybe next week, probably, we're gonna try out. I kind of want to make over the next week. I'm gonna make a list of all the games that we currently know about that I want on Switch 2. Because I know we've given a few predictions up till this point, but I have a few more that I'm just kind of like, yeah, what possible games could we get on Switch 2? I think that'd be a fun stream topic. So yeah, maybe next week we'll do that. Okay, so that takes us into WIBE. So, let's start off with foodstuffs. I went to Freddy's. Actually, today. I did that today. So Freddy's, we talked about them a few weeks ago. They had a grilled cheeseburger and a caramel apple shake. And I really liked both of those things. So I went to Freddy's today, and I was like, I'm gonna get myself a grilled cheeseburger and a caramel apple shake. They discontinued it today. I'm pretty sure either today or yesterday. Because I looked at them earlier in the week and was like, yeah, on Friday I'm gonna go to Freddy's and get one of those. Man, caramel apple, I love caramel apple, especially with Halloween right around the corner. Man, caramel apple sounds so good. But no, instead I get there today and it's like, grilled cheeseburger, we no longer have that. Did you replace it with anything? Nope. So instead I just got a normal, cheeseburger. But they did replace their caramel apple shake with a Oreo peppermint. It's a you can get a shake or a concrete. I got the shake. I like shakes more than I do concretes. I'll be honest. I'm a decent shake guy. Again, when this series originally started back in 2018, yeah, when this series started in 2018, there was a tradition called the Summer of Shakes, where we would try out a different shakes during the summer episodes. Ah, that takes me back. Even though they actually did do Summer of Shakes this year, I only did it like 2 or 3 times. Or I guess it would be last year. Regardless. So yeah, I was like, okay, let's try this new peppermint Oreo shake. Okay, so here's the thing. I had to buy new toothpaste this week. I hate mint. Honestly, I've always struggled kind of with brushing your teeth. Like, I do it, but I fucking hate doing it, right? Like, brushing your teeth is a chore for me. And one of the big contributors of that is that I hate mint. I hate mint-flavored toothpaste. And it drives me crazy. I don't like mint-flavored toothpaste. And there are a few other places that do non-mint flavored toothpaste. Like, for a while, there was like an orange toothpaste that I would get, and it still had hints of mint in it, but it was better. There was also, at one point, I had this like medical toothpaste that tasted like fucking nothing. It tasted like chemicals, and man, it's the best toothpaste I've ever had. I've never had, again, I think it was like a prescription toothpaste or something like that. So I've never been able to get it again. Because, you know, COVID, dentist, God, I fucking hate the dentist. That's a whole other thing. Does that contribute to the problem? Definitely. But, so I don't like mint toothpaste. Very few places every toothpaste is mint. Every good toothpaste is mint, and I had to get new toothpaste this month, and I tried to find one without a flavor, bought it, used it, it's fucking mint. So, God, I hate mint. But I say all that because I don't actually hate mint-flavored ice cream. I know some people are like, oh yeah, mint-flavored ice cream is like brushing your teeth. Why would I want that? I actually don't that's not how it tastes to me. Mint ice cream tastes very differently than mint toothpaste. But you know what does taste like mint toothpaste? Fucking peppermint. I don't like peppermint. And it's not one of those things like I actively think about. Like I don't actively think I actively think I hate mint toothpaste. I don't actively think I hate peppermint. Having this peppermint Oreo shake just reminded me, oh yeah, I hate peppermint. I ate the whole thing. I wish the Oreo flavor was stronger in it. It's there, definitely. Like, this isn't like that, pineapple frosty, or was it the pineapple, where, like, the pineapple completely supplants the mango? Mostly. Right, this actually did taste like, I did definitely taste the Oreo, and there were Oreo pieces and whatnot. But man, I just tasted the peppermint. It was a miserable fucking time. And now now that I've eaten something really sweet like that, I should have just immediately brushed my teeth, and I didn't, and I gotta do that. So I got a double dose of mint today. Fuck me. And like, all the non-mint toothpaste cost like $10. Like, there's like, it's not called, is it called like His Smile, His Melee, High Smile? It's something like that. That does like that I see do like all these weird toothpaste flavors, like mango, like red velvet, but it's like $11 for a tube that's not even that big. And I'm like, yeah, you know, that might be the solution, but I don't want to pay $11 for toothpaste. Man. Again, I wish I could just get that. I'm sure I could actually go to a dentist and just get like that back, but man, I fucking hate the dentist. And until the point in which my mouth starts to kill me, no. I have no reason to go to the dentist. Also, you know, health insurance and dental insurance. Why the fuck are health insurance and dental insurance two different things? Like, who the fuck thought that was a good idea? I know it's a remnant from, like, the barbershop days, but remnant is the key word. So yeah, that's the one food thing I tried. There was nothing else new at Freddy's. I didn't have anything else. I didn't try anything else this week. It was just that, and that was something where I was like, you know what, it's Friday. I'm not gonna cook. I'm just gonna go out. And oh god, was I tired. I got home, just took a nap, and then I woke up hours later and was like, oh shit, I gotta do dinner and I gotta stream. I considered not streaming tonight because of my nap. I was just like, oh god, I was out of it. It's been a fucking week. And the next 2 weeks aren't much better. So let's talk about movies. So, again, the next 2 weeks aren't gonna be much better because the fucking election's in 2 weeks. It's less than 14 days now. It's right around the corner. And so I bring up the election because I went and voted on Tuesday? No, Monday. On Monday of this week, right? Early voting opened up. Was it Monday? Was it Tuesday? I don't know. At some point this week, early voting opened up here in Texas. I want to say it was on the 19th. I want to say that was Monday. So, of course, I went and voted. You know, I'd been waiting to. I went day one. The polling place I went to was actually, they were busy, but they had a lot of people working there. So it went pretty quick. I don't think I was there for longer than like half an hour. There wasn't like, because, you know, I go to the one that's kind of You know, it's funny, because I don't think of it as out of the way, but I could totally see how someone could say it was out of the way, but I guess that's just where I am in town and whatnot. Because there were other polling places. I saw some pictures from around town. Oh my god, some of the other places were so fucking busy. Not where I was. I think it helps that there's a lot of, like, there's a lot of locations, or that there's a lot of, like, places for, you know, you to actually go. Like, there's a lot of, like, tabulators and whatnot, whereas some of the other places have a lot less. But so I went and voted, and I bring all that up in the movie section, because right down the street from the early voting place that I went to is the movie theater. It was, like, right down the street. So I went and voted, and then I was with the intention of, like, hey, after I vote, I'm gonna go see a movie, right? Like, it just made sense. Because usually when I go vote, I go and see a movie. Like, legitimately. I think I do that every time, because it's right down the street, right? It's like a 2-minute drive, if traffic's good. Sometimes it's not. Oh my god. So I voted, and I went to the movies, and I saw Transformers 1. I know it's now released. I think it released on digital, like, on Wednesday or Thursday. It released, it maybe even earlier than that. But I wanted to see it in the theaters. I went to the theater. I was the only one there. It was an entirely empty theater. Because, again, the movie came out on digital just a few days later. But I'm glad I saw it in theaters. I really enjoyed it. Everyone's been saying about it is completely right. It is a great movie. Does it diverge from the source materials? Yeah, totally. But guess what? It's an adaptation. It's allowed to diverge from the source material as long as it's good. It's like the most recent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Did that movie diverge a lot from the source material? Yes. But it was good, so I don't have any complaints. Same here. Did this movie diverge from the source material? Yes. Do I have any complaints? Not really. I love the animation style. I know a lot of people bitched and moaned about it in the trailers. I think in practice it looks really good. Man, some of those backgrounds. There's specifically at one point where they get up to the surface, because they're living in an underground, right? Basically, Orion Pax in D16 are miners underground. And eventually they find a map, they go up to the surface, and that first time seeing the surface, the vaporwave sunset, is beautiful. Oh my gosh. And there are plenty of shots like that. Overall, the movie looked great, in my opinion. I like the characters. I know a lot of people complained about, oh, well, why are we always getting celebrities to voice characters? Oh, Chris Hemsworth as Optimus Prime, Scarlett Johansson as Alita 1. What the fuck? Why don't we get actual voice actors? And, like, I get that complaint, but at the same time, I think they just did a really good job. Scarlett Johansson has a history, right? And I feel like that's a thing a lot of people kind of forget. As well, yes, there are people who are exclusively voice actors, where that's their only job. A lot of actors do voice acting work at many points in their career. I mean, Brian Tyree Henry, who plays Megatron, is Miles' dad in the Spider-Verse films. And that's like the first thing that comes to my mind, right? Lawrence Fishburne, right? He's Morpheus, but he has done so much voice acting work over the years. He's the, just the recent example, he's the fucking Beyonder in Moon Girl, and that show's fantastic, and he does a great job in that. And yeah, he's in this, and oh my god, Moon Girl got cancelled. Yeah, we found out Moon Girl is not getting a season 3. There is going to be a season 2B. In January, we are going to get some more episodes. But that's it. It got canceled, we're not getting a 3rd season, and that fucking sucks. It's fucking Spectacular Spider-Man all over again. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is a fantastic show with some great animation, some superb sound design. Maybe one of the best uses of sound design I have ever seen in a TV show. The, Take Back the Lower East Side, the LES, the moment with the Nuzzler is one of the best uses of sound design I can think of in all of television. Beautifully animated, beautiful sound design. Love that show to death. And it sucks that it's getting canceled, because it was so fucking good. And I hope they at least get an ending. I hope the 2nd season season 2B has like a proper ending. And that they didn't just get screwed over. I hope they don't... It would have been worse if the show wasn't getting a Season 2B, because where Season 2A leaves off on a cliffhanger, and man, do I want that finished. Right? I want to see what... I really want to see that next episode. What the fuck's gonna happen there? I know it's all gonna work out in the end, but man, do I want to see where that goes. It's so good. If you have not watched Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, it's fantastic. Oh my god, I love it. I love it so much. I want to see, because I want to see what they're doing with the Beyonder, right, where that's gonna go. But yeah, back on topic, new Transformers, it's really good. Now that it's out on digital, go watch it. I hope we get a second one, because if I had like one major problem with it, it's that, right, the whole reason they're underground is because, right, Cybertron was at war with, I think they're called the Quintessets. They're bug aliens. And basically, right, they're all underground to avoid the Quintessets. They're looking for this matrix of leadership, which was lost in the war. And by the end of the story, all the Quintesset stuff doesn't really get resolved because they're not the main villains of the movie. The main villain is Sentinel Prime, who I don't know much about Transformers. One of the few things I do know is that, right, I know two things about Transformers. Starscream will always betray Megatron, and Sentinel Prime is a jackass. And yeah, guess what? Sentinel Prime is a jackass in this movie. But there's some really good stuff. I love everything with Optimus and Megatron is so good. The final fight scene between the two of them at the end of the movie, one of my favorite fight scenes. I don't want to say ever, obviously, but it is so well choreographed. It is so well done. It just has hype moment after hype moment. It's so fucking good. That final fight scene is peak. I loved it so much. I don't even know what to compare it to. It's just really good. Like, I'd watch the movie again just for that final fight scene between Megatron and Optimus. It's so good. But yeah, after that fight scene, right, Megatron and the others leave, and then the movie just ends. Yeah, there's a post-credit scene setting up the Decepticons. If I had a second complaint, Keegan-Michael Key is Bumblebee, and while he does an okay job, you know, he's funny sometimes. Right, he's one of those characters who never shuts the fuck up. He's like, I'm gonna use Beast Boy as my comparison, right? Like, he never stops talking, and at one point, right, a bunch of characters get captured, and he's the only one who gets gagged because he won't shut the fuck up, and he talks in his sleep. Okay, I will say that I did love the one, like, meta reference. One of the bosses called Aatron. That was fucking funny. Man, I love that sketch. Key and Peele is so fucking good. It's such a funny show. Right? I've been thinking a lot about the East-West Bowl sketches recently for some reason. And man, that sketch is so funny. Right? DeBrickashawn Ferguson. Dolphin noise. Or was it construction noises? I think it's construction noises. And then just Dan Smith, BYU. Man, that sketch is so fucking funny. But yeah, so no, the new Transformer, he does kind of, there are some jokes that he has that are really funny, but there are other jokes that really just got to me, where it's just like, shut the fuck up. Like, I get that's why you're right, you're writing the character to be obnoxious, and everybody in universe kind of knows he's obnoxious. But the key to writing an obnoxious character is that he should be obnoxious to the characters in the universe, not to us, the viewer. And sometimes it got on my nerves. But I still think the performance is good. So yeah, I did really like it. I do highly recommend it. I'm more of a Transformers fan than I am a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. So, like, I say I only know 2 things. I actually know a lot more. And yeah, this definitely did make some changes to the source material. A good chunk, actually. But I don't mind that at all. I do think this is, yeah, one of the better Transformers movies. I do kind of want to watch at least the first... I want to watch the first and third Michael Bay movies. I know the second one isn't that good, and it was a victim of the writer's strike and everything. But if I remember correctly, the second one, you know, they're as Michael Bay movies go. The second and third ones are actually decent. I know they all completely fall apart after that. I don't even think I saw the 5th one. I remember seeing the 4th one, because that's the one with I think that's the one with Galvatron and Mark Wahlberg. But I never saw the 5th one. I don't think I saw Bumblebee. I might have seen Bumblebee. And I didn't see the dinosaur one. Or was it the dinosaur? Was it called Primal? I didn't see Primal. I should at some point. But yeah, no, Transformers 1 was great. I hear it didn't do that well at the box office. So I don't know if we're going to get a sequel. But I hope we do. Because it definitely feels like there should be a sequel where they take down the Quintessets. But we'll see, obviously. So next up, we got to talk about comic books. I've got 2 comic books to talk about. So earlier in the week, it was Wonder Woman Day. And everyone was talking about Wonder Woman because the new DC Absolute Wonder Woman comic came out. And color me curious, right? I was curious. Because... To be honest, I'm not really interested in the Absolute Universe. Because, you know, I was around when the Ultimate Universe happened. And I didn't fucking like the Ultimate Universe that much. Were there a few good things that came out of the Ultimate Universe? Yes. Nick Fury Jr., Miles Morales, The Maker. But for the most part, the Ultimate Universe kinda sucked. And it had a lot of that, like, shitty, like, oh, let's do gritty comic books. Oh, what would this gritty character be? Oh, here's Iron Man, but he's a fucking living brain. Oh, the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are, even though they're twins, they're in an incestuous relationship. Oh, look, it's the Blob, and he's gonna bite off the Wasp's head. God, the Ultimates had a lot of bullshit in it. Ultimatum, ugh. So, yeah, I'm not... Stuff like the Ultimate Universe doesn't really appeal to me. Admittedly, a lot of shit in comics doesn't appeal to me. But the Ultimate Universe especially. I've heard the new Ultimate Universe is actually pretty decent. Again, they brought back The Maker. They're doing an older... I have read a few... I've only read the Peter Parker stuff. I've read the first few issues of the new Ultimate Spider-Man with an older Peter Parker with kids. I think I read the first 5. Yeah, they're decent. You know, they're decent. They get it. There are some very interesting ideas. I like Uncle Ben being alive. I like Peter and MJ having kids. I like that the daughter finds out and, right, eventually spills it to the whole family. MJ's the one who comes up with the name Spider-Man. They're doing the symbiote stuff already, which, okay, I'm not entirely sure how to feel about that. I feel like that's very early to do the symbiote suit thing. But, you know, regardless, I think it's interesting. I think we're at, like, issue, like, 7 or 8 now, and I only read the first 5 because I fell behind. I'll get around to it at some point, probably. But, so while Marvel's doing their new Ultimate Universe, DC, meanwhile, is doing something called the Absolute Universe. And, right, they're launching it with Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman, and Absolute Superman, right? Getting the Trinity in there. And, I'll be honest, I've seen the stuff about because I think we've got 2 issues of Absolute Batman. And it's just not for me. I mean, I know they're trying to do stuff different, right? Like, this Bruce Wayne, I think his mom is alive. He's not a millionaire. He's an engineer. He's, you know, he's poor, right? Like, they're changing fundamental aspects of the character, which isn't a bad thing, especially because the Absolute Universe is supposed to be an inverse of the mainline universe. Because the whole premise is like, hey, in the mainline DC universe, the universe is based around Superman. right? Superman embodies hope, justice, and truth, or, well, the Trinity does. So, right, the Absolute Universe is based around Darkseid. So it's the same heroes, but, you know, they come from their opposites. Right, Batman is a billionaire without parents, so in this one, he's poor, and he's at least got his mom. Right, his dad's still dead, but he's got his mom. Right, Wonder Woman isn't the princess of the Amazon island of Themyscira. She's the last Amazon, and she's the princess of hell. And then the Absolute Superman is, I'm pretty sure Krypton blew up when he was older. Like, he got to live his childhood on Krypton, and then it exploded and he got sent to Earth. So, right, they're trying to invert the characters. There's going to be a Flash story, there's going to be a Martian Manhunter story, there's going to be a Green Lantern story. All that got announced at Comic-Con this week. And I'm sure those might be interesting. But I'll be honest, Absolute Batman, it just doesn't... I don't really care for it. I might check it out at some point. But there's nothing in it that really appeals to me right now. I know the chest axe thing that's neat. The new Batmobile being a fucking dump truck, I think is an interesting idea. Right, you've got some interesting ideas there, but that's not why I read Batman. Right? Like, I don't read Batman for him being a rich kid without parents either. I read it for the family stuff. But I don't know if Absolute Batman's gonna do it for me. Now, Absolute Wonder Woman, on the other hand, she's the Princess of Hell. Basically, in the first issue, they establish that the Amazons, right, they were basically the origin story, you know, right, for Wonder Woman. The Amazons live on this island. Diana was probably created from clay, even though they haven't confirmed that yet, obviously. And basically, the Amazons did something to piss off the gods. All the Amazons were jailed up by Zeus, except for Diana, who was brought to Hell and put under the care of Circe. So, you know, she grew up in Hell, she's a witch, and, you know, she's the last Amazon. And now she's going to man's world to, you know, protect it, but also to learn what happened to the Amazons. I feel like that's a good setup. I love the arts, right? The art style is great. The new character design, I think, is very interesting, right? The tattoo sleeve looks nice. I like the giant sword. The skeleton horse, whatever. But, you know, I think there's some interesting ideas here. I like her being raised by Circe. Still, and, you know, maybe if I read Absolute, because, right, the Trinity represents truth, justice, and hope, right? Superman is hope, Wonder Woman is truth, and Batman is justice. So I'm sure if I were to read Absolute Batman, as long as the justice aspect of his character is there, no murder, right? I'm anti-murder. If Batman murders someone, that's it. I'm fucking... That's something you can't take away. Him murdering people and him using guns, to take that away from the character ruins the character. Zack Snyder. So, I'm against that. But, you know, reading this first Wonder Woman issue, that ideal of truth, well, again, this is the opposite. They're not villains. And I still get that feeling that, yeah, Wonder Woman represents truth. Or some sort of, you know, hope and justice. Like, there's no lasso of truth yet. They definitely, like, I think the issue ends with her getting, like, this, like, fire whip that I don't think is the lasso of truth, but they're clearly gonna use it at some point. I saw someone say that, hey, you know, they should give the lasso of truth to Cheetah of this universe, and I think that'd be very interesting to, like, as, like, a subversion thing. Because I like her being raised by Circe, I think is a good idea. Right, because I'm pretty, like, in the Absolute Batman, again, not having read it, I'm pretty sure there's some aspect of that where it's like Batman and all the villains, like, knew each other as kids, like, they all kind of grew up together. And I'm sure something similar, they're going to do something similar with Absolute Superman. Again, he can't be friends with Lex Luthor, but they'll do something. But I was just curious about Absolute Wonder Woman. Like, that's, out of all the three Absolute stories, that's the one that interests me. I don't care about Absolute Batman. I might read that. And so far, nothing I've seen from Absolute Superman interests me either. I don't like a black suit Superman. It's something that I think should be used very sparingly, right? I know this is the opposite universe and everything, so they're allowed to do new stuff. But if that new stuff doesn't appeal to me, then I'm not gonna read it. And yeah, so far nothing I've seen from the Absolute Superman, which again, I don't think has released yet. But so far, nothing I've seen from that has really appealed to me. But you know, maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe I'll check it out. Maybe I'll check out Absolute Batman one of these days as well. But so far, yeah. Absolute Flash looks interesting. I kind of I saw someone make the joke that Absolute Flash is like totally lesbian coded, even though again, not a woman. I think it is Wally West though, which is good. I don't know, they ruined Wally West in mainline comics. I still love Wally West, he is still my Flash, but man, did DC just do him dirty for so long. So maybe the Absolute Universe is a chance at his redemption. And then the Martian Manhunter stuff looks interesting. The Green Lantern stuff, potentially. I don't know, I might get invested, right? This Absolute Wonder Woman might be the gateway. But yeah, that's where I started. So, give me a second. So, at the end of Absolute Wonder Woman, right, you know, comics have, like, the ads at the back. And I see an ad for a comic called The Strange Case of Harleen and Harley. And it's one of those DC young adult graphic novels. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, this art style looks familiar. Where do I recognize it? And I look at the artist, and it's... God, I've never known how to pronounce her name. Jen Stiogny? Ongi? It's, yeah, JENNST-ONG. I've never known how to pronounce it. And I'm like, wait a second, that's the person who was one of the artists on Jim and the Holograms. So if you don't know about IDW's Jim and the Holograms, it's one of my favorite non-Marvel... You know what? No, it's one of my favorite comics of all time. IDW's Jim and the Holograms is so good. If you were into like the whole brony thing back in the day, I would highly recommend IDW's Jim and the Holograms. It's so good. And you know, it kind of fits that vibe. And so again, I'm not a brony guy, but you know, it's the one that got me. And one of the artists, the one who I think specifically did the Misfits. I know they did some other stuff as well, but I know they did the Misfits. And I was like, oh shit, I love their artwork. This new DC book? Yeah, sure, I'll check it out. So I picked up that as well. Right? The Strange Case of Harleen and Harley. And right, it's an obvious rip off The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Right? So right, this is it's a young adult graphic novel. And basically in this, right, this is basically like a one-off thing. As far as I'm assuming it's a one-off. Like, I know there was the young adult like Gotham High. I'm assuming this doesn't connect to that in any way, even though they do mention Gotham Academy or whatever. I'm assuming this has no connection. But basically the story is, right, it's this universe, Harleen got kicked out of Gotham Academy because her boyfriend murdered someone. And so now her and her family are living in the outskirts. She's currently dating Pamela Isley. And, right, she's just in a rough state, you know, things aren't going well for her. She wants to do gymnastics, but they can't afford a coach or gym sessions or anything. So she signs up for a drug trial with Hawthorne, her and Pamela. And now, right, when she takes this drug, it's supposed to be an anti-anxiety drug, but it basically creates the Harley Quinn personality, who's, you know, rough and tumble, willing to break the law, willing to pick fights. And yeah, it's just, you know, their relationship, what happens as a result of this, how they're going to deal with these, right, the drugs, right, because this company is clearly, like, experimenting on them, and, like, what's the repercussions of that? Other stuff is happening with, Pamela. right? Like, one of the first, right, because, you know, like, yeah, this is an original universe, right? They're original interpretations of the character, because, again, they're high schoolers. There's a big pro-family-centric message here. At least, you know, a family that loves you. Because, right, early on, you find out, right, that, well, Harley's family has its problems. Right, her parents do love her. Her brother loves her. And then, meanwhile, it's contrasted with Pamela's family, whose dad beats up their mom. But, you know, she won't go to the cops about it. But yeah, I like seeing them in a relationship. They're in a relationship the entire book, right? They do talk about, right, that one time they had the struggle where that guy killed someone for Harley, right, a bully, and how, you know, she kind of got blamed for it, and she's on probation now. They go in, they commit some crimes, right? They break into the chemical company to, like, free their animal test subjects. They do a few other crimes. They introduce this guy. And it's, right, at one point, I think she gets picked up from school after she faints. And when she does, she gets picked up because her dad, like, they never say who he works for, you know, it could be like Falcone or one of those. But they never say. But he's definitely doing something criminal. And so he sends one of his goons or one of his henchmen or, you know, someone he works with to pick them up. And it's Jack Napier. And I'm like, wait a second. Isn't that the Joker? And yeah, sure enough, right, right, it's about Harley and Ivy. But it's got the Joker in it as well. Now, of course, it's not actually the Joker. Like, honestly, the only thing this character has in common with the Joker is near the end of the book, he's got green hair and he wears a purple suit. Other than that, they're basically entirely different characters. Like, you know, basically everyone else in this book. But I don't have a problem with that. I actually like, I mean, they don't call him the Joker at any point. Like, they use Harley Quinn and, they don't call her Poison Ivy, they just call her Ivy. But, right, they don't use the Joker at any point, instead they just call him Jack Napier. But I actually liked him, right? Because he wasn't a romance interest for Harley or Harleen, right? Like, because both Harley and Harleen love Ivy. Right, they both love Pamela, and like at no point are they going to cheat on her, and the Jack Napier just knows it and just kind of goes along with it. And right, because he ends up calling Harley Trouble, and he calls Pamela Princess. But no, I actually don't mind this interpretation of the Joker at all. Like, it makes the character a part of her backstory, while removing all the romantic stuff, and, you know, it centers it more on, like, Pamela and Harley's relationship. And I do like it. There are some points where I'm like, okay, clearly, right, Harleen and Harley are two different characters. For most of the book, what Harley does, Harleen cannot remember. Like, Harley knows everything Harleen does, but not vice versa. Like, Harleen only thinks of it as, like, a dream. And, like, we've seen similar, the Harley Quinn animated show. There are multiple points where she speaks to, like, her inner psychologist. And this is basically just an extended version of that. Of course, they're still just high schoolers. But, right, you see those ideas and mentalities here. So I'm fine with this interpretation. And yeah, I liked this comic. It's it's basically 4 issues, right, where we see, right, we start off, we get introduced to the characters and the world, we see their crimes escalate as things get worse, and we get a big conclusion with an explosion. All's well that ends well, more or less. You know, they confront Ivy's dad, they do the whole shebang. I really liked it, you know. Yes, is it one of those graphic novels made for kids? Or for young adults, I mean. Yeah, it is. But it's got a good LGBTQ relationship. I like the characters. I like, right, the whole bit with Harley's family. That, right, Ivy is her chosen family. That, right, her parents are totally down for it. Right, like, at one point, I thought it was like, oh, Harley's dad knows, but her mom doesn't. But eventually, when right, the dad eventually turns on Ivy and, right, beats her and throws her down, the first person they go to is the mom. So I do like that aspect. And yeah, I love that at the end they get the Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy costumes. They look so good. They're great costumes. But yeah, I think it's you know, as like a book for kids and, you know, young adults. Yeah, you know what? I have no problem with it. Is it as good as something like Superman Smashes the Klan, which was also same imprint that I read earlier this year? No, but it's still really good. I still did really enjoy it as like a fun, you know, Ivy and Harley story. Yeah. And you know, like I said, it has its serious moments, definitely. And yeah, do I take it as far as like, because there are some stories where they have like the split personalities and whatnot, and it's kind of like, is this rape? Right? Because one personality knows, but the other doesn't. This one, I don't get, it never goes that far, but I never really got that impression. I mean, there's definitely some things where you could like make the comparison, but again, because she's in a strict committed relationship, the Harley personality never takes it too far for Harley, right? Oh, I didn't even start a match. I didn't even realize that. But yeah, I really did like this comic. I'm glad I just saw it in the back of the window and was immediately like, yeah, I love this artist. I'm gonna pick that up. But yeah, I'd recommend it, and also I highly recommend the Gems and the Holograms comics. There's 4 or 5 original volumes. There's the spin-off Misfits comic, which might be my favorite one. And then there was Infinite, and then there was IDW 2020. I could go into a whole thing about Jim and the Holograms. I love that book to death. We could talk about it for hours, but I don't want to talk about it for hours. Go and read it. It's great. And yeah, the artist does a fantastic job. I should check out some of their other stuff. Like, I guess they do the Nancy Drew books as well. So I should maybe check that out. But I'm glad I noticed it. I'm glad I recognized the art style. And was like, oh shit, I know who that is. I had to double check, obviously, but it's still, I was excited to notice that. So yeah, I'd recommend that. I recommend Absolute Wonder Woman, and I recommend Jim and the Holograms. Man, the strange case of Harley and Harleen. I wonder if any of the other, because I don't know, I'd heard about Superman Smashes the Klan. I found out about this. Are any of the other DC young adult graphic novels good? Like, I know there's the whole Gotham Academy thing, which I remember people shitting on, but I remember that was when it was announced. Like, is it actually bad? Because I like it. I like them being one-off stories. That's what I should say. I like that, like, you don't need a bunch of context for these, right? This is basically an isolated story, right? Any context you need, the book's gonna give you. Same thing with Superman Smashes the Klan. Any context you need, the book's gonna give you. And that book is fantastic. That's one of the better Superman books I read this year. Actually, every Superman book I've read this year has been pretty good. Right? If my lowest point is All-Star Superman, that should give you an idea of how many good Superman books I've been reading this year. God, I might actually pick up Absolute Superman. Just to do it, I might actually pick it up. But God, comics just keep getting more and more expensive. I don't know, these were both worth it. Okay, let's talk about games. I only have one, Mario Party. I've been playing Mario Party all week. I've played on every board. I did the entire story mode. I 100%ed it. It wasn't actually that hard. I think it took me less than 5 hours to 100% the story mode. I could see some people complaining about that. That's not the point. Right, the story mode is just something for people without friends, or whose friends can't play all the time to do. I do like that you're basically setting up the boards, so it was neat when it's like, oh, you do the Goomba board, and right, you set up like the fishing mini game, and then when you actually play the fishing mini game, yeah, it works kind of like it does in the thing. Yeah, it's mostly a mini game focused thing. They bring back in the single player mode, they bring back mini stars, which is not something I would see referenced again, because again, it comes from the worst Mario parties, 9 and 10. Okay, I'll admit, top 100 is probably worse than either of those. But you know, it's got those aspects. And yeah, I liked the party. Like I said, it was short, it was simple. I had fun with it. It was an easy way to unlock all of the boards, because, you know, after you could... Because if you get up to level... There's achievements in that game, right? I know people complain about Nintendo not having achievements. And the thing is, Nintendo has achievements in their games. They're just not external, right? You just can't share the achievements with your friends. Because, like, the little badges on your name tag in Splatoon, those are just achievements. But you don't have, like, an achievement processing hub where you could brag to your friends, like, hey, look, these are the games I got the Platinum Trophy on. Right? There's no, like, gamer score. But yeah, so basically, if you get 30 achievements, which is actually pretty easy to do if you just do a bunch of mini games, you can get, you can unlock all the boards, or if you just do the single-player mode. Right, I'm pretty sure I got them all through the single-player mode. I don't know. When I finished the single-player mode, I also hit enough achievements to get Cloud Cuckoo Land, so I got those both at the same time. I know completing the single-player mode definitely got me the Bowser board for sure, and then I think I'd already had Western Land. Because I got Western Land almost immediately. Like, after my... I think my third ever game was on Western Land. But yeah, since then, I've played all the boards. The weakest board, in my opinion, is the racetrack one. The one change I wish they had made to the racetrack board, because it's a very simple, very linear board, but I wish it had all been about speed and going around the board as many times as possible. Because right now, in the racetrack board, when you do a lap, you get coins, right? So you do your first lap, you get 10 coins. You do your second lap, you get 20 coins, so on and so forth. I wish instead, every time you completed a lap, you got a permanent dice upgrade. So right after you complete your first lap, you get 2 dice blocks you can roll every turn. After you complete your third lap, you get 3 dice blocks you can roll every turn. After you complete your fourth lap, you get 4 dice blocks. And then it just becomes a game about speed, going around the board as fast as possible. Or even if it was like a payable option, right? If, like, you know how, like, there are, like, God, I can't believe I'm going to reference this. You know how in, like, Paper Mario Sticker Star, where you get the casino, where you can pay coins in the casino to use, like, 2 or 3 attacks? I wish maybe it had been like that. You basically, at any point on the board, could pay money to do a double or triple dice block roll, and that got unlocked to you after each lap. Like, there obviously has to be some sort of, like, payoff or consequence. But I feel like if the board had just been about, like, hey, you've got to do as many laps as possible, right? Like, I wish there was a bonus star that was for, like, the player who completed the most laps. If that was, like, in, like, pro mode, if that was, like, one of the custom custom bonus stars you could set. I don't know, I feel like there's potential there for the racetrack board. The quadruple dice only ever came up, like, once. I honestly would rather most of that match have a custom dice block than a quadruple dice. Or, I think it's called a turbo dice in game. I don't know, I find custom dice more useful. There is technically a split in the path where you could go up and you can buy, like, a dice refill, which gives you, like, double, triple, and cursed dice. I don't know if it gives you a turbo. I don't think it ever gave us one of the turbos. But yeah, it's an okay board. Like, I'm not gonna say it's bad. It's just kind of generic. It's kind of simple. I did love seeing the cop in the thwomp in the spaceship from, you know, Spaceland come back. That was a really cool reference that I'm glad was there. There's a few other little things like that. But yeah, I would definitely say the racetrack board is the weakest. Wigglers is okay, you know, it's a tree board. It's got more substance than the racetrack board, I'll give it that. Goomba Island's fine. Goomba Island is fine. The mall one I really do like. Bowser's Keep is okay, right? It's good. I've seen some crazy clips where if you crack the vault, like I saw someone do like a 30-turn game where they cracked the vault near the end of the game, and it gave them like over a dozen stars, and it gave them a shitload of money. So that's interesting. And then of course Western Land, I mean, I'm sure it's different than it was in Mario Party 2, but for me and my mates, it played like how we remembered it. Right? You got the train, you could run over people with the train. I think it's interesting that there are no consequences to being hit by the train, other than being sent back. But then, I feel like every game just evolves into putting star-stealing stars right back at the beginning of the board, so that way you can try to steal as many stars as possible for people who get hit by the train. The Milk Party is back, right, where everyone can celebrate at the Milk Party. That's fun in games. Is it called the Hootenanny? I feel like it's called the Hootenanny. Yeah, so I liked that. I did not... Okay, I said I played every board. I actually have not played Cloud Cuckoo Land. Now that I think about it, I have not played Cloud Cuckoo Land. It's the one board I haven't got to. But, because we've played... I've played, like, 3 games on the mall. I've played 3 games on the mall... 2 in Western Land, and 1 everywhere else. I've played like 7 games. Or I guess I've played 8. 3 in the mall, 2 in Western Land, 1 racetrack, 1 Bowser's Keep, and 1 Goomba's Island? It's something like that. Maybe I've only played 2 at the mall. I don't know, I feel like I've played 3. I know one game we didn't finish. We ran out of time. Maybe that's why I'm getting 8 from, is that the one, because I don't think we finished one of our mall games. Because, you know, we'd been playing for hours at that point. But Mario Party is great. It's exactly what you want it to be. It's a heck of a lot of fun. You know, is this one of the best Mario Parties? Yes, I would say so. Right? Are all the boards perfect? Are they all standout, amazing, best boards ever? No, but guess what? No Mario Party has 10 out of 10 amazing best boards ever. And the people who claim that, oh, well, 2 does or 3 does. I don't know about that. I mean, I know a lot of people like Mario Party 1. I didn't actually see that many people excited to play Cloud Cuckoo Land when it came back in this game. Because Cloud Cuckoo Land, not its actual name, that's a reference to the Lego movie, by the way. That's where I'm getting that from. Is not one of the better remembered boards. But I'm glad it's here. And man, do I hope this game gets DLC. It's obviously not going to get DLC, because it's Nintendo, and for some reason, even though Mario Party would make perfect for DLC, they refuse to do it. But gosh, do I hope they do. I'd love to see some old remastered boards. I'd love to see some stuff from like 4, 5, and 6. Like, if they do a map pack, like, hey, guess what, we're adding 3 new maps, 1 from 4, 1 from 5, 1 from 6. You know, they don't have to bring back, like, capsules or anything like that. Like, I'd obviously, if they do a board from 6, I want the day-night mechanics back. But I don't need them to bring back the capsules or the candies or anything. But I think that'd be a lot of fun. Which board from 6 would I want back? I have no idea. My first thought, for some reason, is the ice one, but I think that's just because that's the first. When I think of 6, I think of the ice level first. I don't know if that's the one I'd actually want back. If they bring one back from 8, I'd want the hotel, just because the hotel is so unique. It's more like Fortune Street than it is Mario Party, but I like that. I like that being unique. Other than that, I would want the train one. And I have no idea for 6, for 5 or 6. Or for 4 or 5, I mean. I literally could not name a single board from 4 or 5 if you asked me off the top of my head. But it'd be cool. It'd be cool to get some, you know, representation. Again, I think from here on out, every Mario Party should have a handful of new boards and a handful of old boards. Kind of like Mario Kart games. Oh, so close. We lost this one. But yeah, I think that's the only game I've been playing this week. The new Wilmot's Puzzle Palace, Wilmot's Puzzle Place. The sequel to Wilmot's Warehouse came out this week. I do want to play that at some point, especially because I think I might be better at it. at it than I am at Wilmot's Warehouse, which is a game I love, but I also really struggle with, because I'm bad at organizing shit. But I think Wilmot, right, I'm not a big puzzle guy, but, you know, I'm okay with puzzles. I liked the demo. I'm excited to, you know, play the actual game. But there are so many indie games I need to play. I want to play that. I still got to play Peglin. I still got to play They added Balatro to Dave the Diver, which I need to play before the Godzilla DLC goes away. Right, there's Godzilla DLC and Dave the Diver, and you have a month left to get it, and I don't have it, so I do need to play that. I think if I download it before the end of that time, I'll be fine, but I really do need to download it, like, before then. We'll do 1 or 2 more maps. I basically want to go until we get to the next level in champ rank. I think it's champion next, and then it's ruler after that. That sounds right. So yeah, there's so many. I gotta play Dave the Diver, I gotta play Balatro, I gotta play Peglin, I gotta play Pizza Tower, Wilmot's Puzzle Palace, or whatever, Puzzle Place. Mind Over Magnet comes out, I think, right after the election. There's a lot of stuff to do. We might... we'll talk about that, actually, when we get to the outro. Any other game I played? It's mostly just been a Mario Party week. And, like, the thing is, I'll probably play Mario Party for, like, another week. And then I probably won't touch it again for, like, another year. Because that's usually... Right, you get in that Mario Party mood, you play a bunch of it, you have a whole lot of fun, and then you just don't touch it for, like, a year. At least that's how me and my friends play it, right? We play it a bunch, and then we just don't play it that much after that. And we're kind of hitting our, like, wall. We'll probably do a few more, you know, we'll do a Cloud Cuckoo Land, we'll do another Western Land. I'm sure we'll finish that mall game, which we have saved. We just didn't finish it. I don't know. You know, I say all that, but if it wasn't such a busy week, we probably would have played more. Like, we played a bunch, but we were also very busy this week. Like, there were so many other things going on. Oh, I did play a little bit of Pokemon. So, one of the things, I haven't really talked about it, but in the background for, like, basically all this year, I've been doing some shiny hunting. Whenever there's, like, a new Outbreak event in Scarlet and Violet, you know, usually the Outbreak events come with increased shiny odds. And I always, you know, want to take advantage of that, because I now have a shiny Tyranitar, which is very cool, and one of those shiny Pokemon I've always kind of wanted, and now I have it, which is very cool. I have 2 shiny Goodras now as well, which is also neat. But yeah, so I did some shiny hunting, and well, they did a new mass outbreak, which it was more Peko, Cramorant, Oranguru, and Pansimian, plus, like, I think one other. And I was like, oh yeah, woo, mass outbreak, I want more Peko shiny. Turns out this new mass outbreak that they didn't have increased shiny odds. So I spent, like, 3 hours on, like, I think Saturday last week, shiny hunting more Peko, and found nothing. And while I was doing that, I was listening to Chilled Chaos play Mario Party on Twitch. Right, I was watching him stream that. Because that was what I really wanted to do. I was like, I wanted to watch Chilled Chaos play Mario Party, but I don't want to just sit here and watch. I need to, like, do something as well. You know, you need to multitask. So that was my multitask. But yeah, so I did that. I did some shiny hunting. It went okay, you know. I wish I had found something. Honestly, it's not the longest shiny hunt I've done, not by a long shot, but it still was a very long time. I don't know, because I'm just not a shiny hunter. But you know, with these mass outbreaks, it makes it a lot easier to hunt shinies. I find my outbreaks being like, yeah, you know, I can, right, like, I want a shiny Goomy. I can find that in 2 hours. Less than that, even. I can sometimes, right, like, I found multiple shiny Goomies in, like, 2 hours. So, you know, that was the hope. Like, I'd be able to find multiple whatevers. And I just didn't. I didn't find a single Morpeko. I didn't even try for Cramorant. I don't actually... The only reason I'd go and get Pansemian in whatever his name is for the dex. Other than that, I don't actually need it. Alright, let's move on to our outro. Let's do some shell-out machine stuff. Okay, I'll take a ticket. And then we got a bunch of... We got 10 conch shells to go through. I don't think we have anything coming out in the shell-out machine for a long time. Like, I'm a long ways away from getting anything in the shell-out machine. At least I think I am. Especially from the Splatfest one. Yeah, there's some ability chunks. Here's some more ability chunks. Project Manager. Okay, here's our last one. I know, would you look at that? More ability chunks. Yay. I don't know. Alright, let's go hit up the shops, do our things. Oh, look, it's Ninja. I love these Halloween outfits, man. Right. I love Big Man's sheet. Big Man's big sheet. So good. Yeah, look at that. That's so good. Frey's vampire. Or Shiver's vampire. And what is Frey? Frey's a, Oh, she's like a skeleton. Yeah. They still look great. I love the Halloween outfits. You know what? I know we did our past, present, and future Splatfest. It would be really fun. I didn't know I had this hat. Oh, that's kind of funny. It'd be really fun for the Christmas Splatfest to be the ghost of the ghost of past, the ghost of present, and the ghost of future. Or Christmas yet to come. That'd be very funny. Ooh, I'll take that. A drink ticket of each kind. That's always good to have. So again, I swear at some point they said if you did this gear, you would get the full Halloween out, right? If you wore the hat and the boots, it'd give you the full Halloween outfit. I'm surprised it didn't, because we have it there. And, like, even if it was just, like, a cosmetic thing, that's fine. I'm surprised they didn't. But I'm so glad we got our Halloween gear, you know? I'm excited. Halloween Splatfest is always fun. I mean, look at these decorations. Look at the pumpkins. Are we getting a Splatoon 4 next year? I don't think so. You know, I was thinking, because, you know, we're past the end game. Yeah, could they just port Splatoon 3 over to Switch 2? Is that exactly what I expect? Yes. But they could also just do Splatoon 4. It makes sense. Could that new... Because right now that new Nintendo Playtest thing uses cavemen. Could they easily replace those with Inklings? Yes. Do I hope they do something entirely new and not just jam-pack it with Mario characters? Yes. I don't know, supposedly because the same team that does Splatoon does Animal Crossing, and supposedly they're working on a new Animal Crossing. So we'll just have to see. So yeah, coming up here in the future, I don't actually know what's coming up here in the future. Of course, you know, we're gonna have more Splatoon, right? We might do some Mario Party. Just kind of like go and check out the single player mode. I might do that for a stream. Maybe a little bit of it. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Maybe next week. So that's one idea. Other than that, I don't think, right, you know, if the Switch 2 gets announced any day now, we'll definitely talk about it. But we'll just have to kind of wait and see. Does that guy have a pumpkin on his head? Look at that guy. Look at Mr. Pumpkinhead over there. That's fun. Yeah, we'll definitely talk. I don't know. I don't see it happening the week before Halloween. But fuck, man. Anything is possible. Same thing with, it could also... Again, there's a Nintendo investors meeting the week in, like, November 7th. So I would assume the Switch 2 would be announced before then. They're not going to announce it at the investors meeting, obviously, right? Like... I mean, if nothing gets announced in the next 2 weeks, we're definitely going to find out at the investors meeting. If it's this year, if it's next year, right? I think they've said in the past that we're going to know about the Switch 2 by the end of fiscal year. And fiscal year ends in May? Of course, there's been all these rumors about the Switch 2 getting delayed, right? First, it was getting delayed until the end of July. Now, there's been other rumors that I don't think I believe about it getting potentially delayed into November. I don't know. I don't see that as very likely. I don't know, we'll just have to see. Man, there was one other thing I wanted to say. Which two? Mario Party? I can't remember. I know we've got Election Day coming up, and I have nothing planned for Election Day, but no, I don't want to. You know, if the country dies, I don't want to stream that. I don't want to... Right, we're in the final season of America, potentially. Someone pointed out that if... Right, I voted for Kamala, obviously. I don't remember if I actually said that earlier, but obviously I voted for Kamala Harris. But someone pointed out, 2026 is America's 50th... or 250th anniversary. The country is 250 years old. Do you really want Donald Trump to be the president then? The U.S. is holding the Olympics in a few years. Do you really want Donald Trump to be the president during the Olympics? Like, fuck, man, that would suck. Yeah. And there's, like, one other big event as well that's coming up. And it's like, do you really want Donald Trump to be the president during that? And, God, there's just... And that... I'm saying that stuff because, you know, that's funny. Donald Trump being the president during the, during America's 250-year anniversary. That's a fucking omen if I've ever seen one. Right? The only thing that would be more ominous is if the hills light on fire and the oceans turn to blood, but... I mean, Donald Trump is potentially the Antichrist. Because the Antichrist was capitalism the whole time. Like any good D&D game. Oh, fuck, I have not watched, Misfits in Magic Season 2. I saw the first 2. I've heard Episode 3 is just, like, soul-crushing. And I've been like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need anything soul-crushing at the moment. So I haven't watched it. I haven't watched Episode 5 either. I'll get around to it. In due time. Always in due time. Okay, I've been rambling. This is where we're going to end off for tonight. We'll be back in the future with future stuff. There's something I'm forgetting, but fuck it, who cares? I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Till next time, peace.